I never really get used to seeing this face staring back at me in videos.
Many people gathered here this morning thought would never come has.
I began working as a TV reporter back in the 1990s, the pre-social media age. I don't look like the people that TV, movies, and magazines tell us are attractive.
So my brain jumped to the only conclusion it could. If they're attractive, then I must be the opposite, which is ugly, right? And if I'm ugly, what business do I have being on TV at all? Back then, only a handful of people had to step in front of the camera for their work. News presenters, reporters, talk show hosts, and the people they interviewed, of course. But today, video isn't just television media houses or Hollywood sets. It's an everyday part of doing business. At some point, almost everyone will find themselves having to get on camera. And if you find yourself cringing every time you see yourself on the screen, well, I know exactly what that feels like. So why do we hate how we look on camera? If we don't look like the people crushing it online, can we still score in today's digital-first world? And is it really possible to get over our insecurities about how we look on camera? Before the internet, yes, I'm that old, humanity wasn't drowning in the sheer volume of beauty images that drive the insecurities that keep so many of us in the shadows.
Back then, there weren't thousands of perfectly lit faces or faces with filters to scroll through in a single sitting. We weren't bombarded with endless reminders of society's beauty standards every time we opened our phone because, well, there were no phones like that to open.
But that doesn't mean we weren't clubbed over the head with a very narrow definition of beauty that makes us feel, well, less than. The pressure was still there, just concentrated in fewer places. TV, magazines, movies, advertising.
Social media didn't invent beauty standards. It just turned the volume all the way up and made it impossible to look away. I've been on this earth for a long time, but there aren't many pictures of me throughout the ages. I've always avoided having my picture taken. I never really liked the idea of pictures of me circulating out there for people to criticize.
I don't want you to get the wrong impression. It's not that I think I'm monstrous in some way, but I grew up thinking I have the kind of looks that are, well, let's say, better kept in the background. I shouldn't draw too much attention to myself is what I used to think. So it's kind of ironic that I ended up working on television as a reporter, a profession that's the exact opposite of staying in the background.
Dwindling reserves of fossil fuels and a surplus of fossilized brains.
Choosing a job as a TV journalist, as someone who has hang-ups about their looks, is kind of like being afraid of heights but becoming a bird. But I had a passion for reading and writing, and I thought maybe TV journalism was a place I could put that passion to work and earn money doing it.
I didn't want to become a doctor or a lawyer like everyone else because I couldn't. So inside me, two sides were at war. On one side, I didn't think I had a face that belonged on TV, but on the other side, I wanted the chance to share good stories with audiences. I mean, I don't know, I had this crazy idea that I could get away with not going on camera too often, doing more voiceover stuff. Yeah, well, that worked for about 10 minutes. I eventually had to face the camera like every other TV reporter, and I had to stop thinking about my looks. And it's a good thing because if I hadn't done that, well, I wouldn't have had all the opportunities that have come my way from doing the hard thing, getting on camera. And I wouldn't be here on YouTube talking to you right now.
Success in life often boils down to two choices: invisibility or success.
I mean, there are some professions where it's better to be anonymous, like being a spy or a cat burglar. But more often, the people who are successful, they tend to be the ones who push themselves out front. They insist on being seen and heard. And deep down, no matter how I felt about my physical looks, well, I kind of always knew that it doesn't really matter how talented or brilliant I am, or at least I think I am, if I'm invisible. So when I was deciding whether to accept that job as a TV journalist, I figured I had two choices. I could worry about what audiences might think about how I look on TV, total strangers by the way, or I could forget about my looks, go on camera, and see where it takes me. I was more uncomfortable about missing out on exciting opportunities in my future, that is, if I chose to stay on the sidelines, than I was about this on that. People are more than their physical looks, but it's unfortunately human nature to make quick judgments about each other based on our appearance, our attractiveness, or apparent lack of it. But here's something that I want you to remember. We don't live inside the Instagram feed.
Social media, particularly Instagram, aren't an accurate reflection of real life. If you compare it to a film, it's not a true story, but loosely based on actual events.
People's social media profiles are often highly curated to put out certain ideas about success, beauty, and happiness. You see enough people with luminescent veneers and you start to think that your smile looks like a rusty hacksaw. I remember watching CNN as a young journalist and thinking most of the news presenters on there look like they were put there because of their looks. On the BBC, though, the on-air talent didn't exactly fit society's beauty standards. Don't get it twisted, everyone is beautiful in their own way. But the news presenters on the BBC looked more like your, average subway car filled with ordinary-looking people. Instagram is a heavily skewed version of the world. The world is a huge place, and it's made up of people with, different shades, hair types, physical features. Now, when I go on camera, when you go on camera, we look more like everyone else in the world. Insecurities about how you look on camera, those are real. I'd never tell anyone that it's all in your head. I had them, so I know. Now, there are many ways to get past those insecurities, and all of them are basically rooted in success. You see, the skills I developed speaking on camera during my television career, they are incredibly valuable today. And that's because of the digital economy. Everything that I have, all that I can do, all of the income that I'm able to attract is because I can convert what's in here into revenue by speaking to people like you through videos like this. Because I confronted my on-camera fears and I was able to push past them, I can speak to people all over the world, wherever they are. That changed everything for me. Now, if you'd like to swap your insecurities for success, I can help you with that. Here's what we would do in a one-on-one 3-hour high-value coaching session. We'd go through the psychological shifts that took me from worrying about how I look and sound on camera to actually enjoying speaking on camera. I'll also help you to learn how to speak to audiences, to connect with them, to build trust, the kind of trust that would help them to choose you over other people in your niche. And I will also help you to shape your own magnetic speaking style so that your face, your voice, your presence on camera feels authentic to you and your audience. Look, showing up on camera and speaking directly to audiences has done way more for me than any credentials or qualifications ever could. So if you're ready to shake those insecurities, grab your matcha, your coffee, or your giant tumbler of water, and let's get you started on working out how to attract more opportunities for yourself in this digital economy. Have you ever thought about the fact that while we don't like to see our faces in videos, it's the same face we use for everything else we do. The face we don't like to see on video is the same face we use to go to work, or to the grocery, or to pay bills. The face that you're seeing in this YouTube video is the same face everyone sees when I'm at a restaurant or in line for free samples. It's the same thing. There are so many things I do without thinking about it. I go to meetings to pitch a proposal. I do live in-person training. I would board a plane to travel for work. So it's crazy to think I should have a problem with this face. I should have a complex about this face in videos when it's the same face I use to live my life every single day. We don't let our insecurities about our looks stop us from going to school or getting a job. We're out there living our lives with our faces in the real world, so we shouldn't let it stop us from getting on video for our jobs or our businesses.
Ooh, that's hot.
I've had a long career on television, so I'm going to let you in on a little secret. No one is truly happy with the way they look on TV or in videos. So how did I get over not liking the way I looked on TV? Well, I just stopped thinking about it. I put it right out of my mind. But it's actually way more than that. Insecurity can be pretty loud, so I had to find something that made more noise than my insecurity about my looks. I intentionally focused on more important things like the stories I was telling. But there was a selfish reason that worked like magic to drown out my insecurities. I saw how people were using TV to make a name for themselves, to market their businesses, to promote charities, to sell their books, or to promote their documentary films. These people weren't caught up about their looks. All they cared about was getting on camera to get to where they wanted to go professionally. I just keep telling myself, well, how much I had to gain by going on camera. And while my insecurities are still there, even to this day, they aren't as loud as they used to be. They've stopped calling the shots. The act of getting on camera did two very important things for me. It created a field of multiplying opportunities that really shaped me for this video-first age of social media. Second, it gave me the confidence to do other stuff that makes me feel uncomfortable. Because I'm already doing that one thing that used to make me the most uncomfortable and feel incredibly out of place. And now anyone who tells you looks don't matter is lying, but that doesn't mean we have to allow our insecurities about our looks to dictate what we're able to accomplish in our lives. So do you worry about how you look on camera? Well, let's chat about it in the comments below.